Have you ever wondered why more people don't ride motorcycles? I have. Every time I get on my bike, that thought crosses my mind because of how awesome riding has been for me. And so here are 5 reasons why more people don't ride motorcycles. Number 1, desire. People will do almost anything if they have the desire. Things that you and I may think are crazy, insane. People climb the open face of mountains with their bare hands, without rope. I think that's crazy. Why are they doing that? They have the desire to do it. That's why people climb Mount Everest. It's why people skydive. It's why people become brain surgeons. Whatever it is, if a person doesn't have the desire, they're probably not going to do something, at least not do it very well. And if a person has a desire to ride a motorcycle, they're going to find a way to reach that goal. Number 2, lack of knowledge. Many people, probably the majority, overwhelming majority, have never been on a motorcycle. So if you've never been on a bike, can you really make an informed decision to not ride? Most people have ridden in a car, and so they have a pretty good idea what's involved in driving a car. But they probably can't say that about a bike. When we get on our bikes, the word people use a lot to describe it is freedom. The feeling of the wind, the openness of it, just you and this machine you're sitting on top of. There's really no way to describe it. I rode mini bikes when I was a kid, but I never got over about 25 miles an hour. I thought I knew what riding a motorcycle would feel like, but I never really knew until I did it. So I think there is some definite lack of understanding, misconceptions, just an overall lack of knowledge about what riding a motorcycle is about. And that prevents people from ever making a informed decision to ride or not. After desire and lack of knowledge, number 3 is fear. Now, there's a healthy fear in life, like a fear of poking around inside your electrical panel if you don't know what you're doing. That's a healthy fear, because you don't want to get electrocuted. And yet there are fears that are quite rational. I would not go down a dark alley in a high crime area at 2 a.m. because there's no upside there for me. Just a high likelihood that I could get mugged, stabbed, killed, who knows. So yeah, I would be fearful of that, just for practical purposes. But I think a lot of people have a fear that they will get hurt riding a motorcycle. I have one colleague of mine who, whenever the topic comes up, he starts telling me about people he knew who used to ride and perished, or who have gotten seriously injured. Yet, when we talk about cars, I don't rattle off the people I know who have perished or been seriously injured in cars. But it seems to be a default thing people do when it comes to bikes. I've always been of the belief that if you have your head in the game, you're mature, and you have rider education and skills which you have practiced and developed, and you take reasonable steps to protect yourself. You don't take unnecessary risks like excessive speed, driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and there are a lot of other things you can add to that list, you can really bring the statistics down and tilt the odds much more in your favor than what people might see in black and white statistics. And so I think there's a general lack of knowledge about that aspect of riding that causes people to just shy away from it. Next, number 4 is money. People say, I want to ride, but I just don't have the money. Kind of a cop-out. You won't get your dream bike. Hey, I don't have my dream bike. But you can get on 2 wheels without putting yourself in the poorhouse and taking on an extra job. It's not a supercar, people. I mean, you can get on 2 wheels, you can get a basic set of gear and the necessary things so that you can start to ride. It's just goes back to number 1. Do you have the desire? Well, it's actually a different day and I'm finishing this vlog. And number 5, and this is only going to apply to about half the population. I want a bike, but my wife won't let me get one. That's right. I want a bike, but my wife won't let me get one. It is really surprising to me how many times men have looked me in the eye and said that. Numerous people. And I've even had women say to me, women whose husbands I do not know, say, my husband wants a bike, but I won't let him get one. Woo! Man! That just hurts, people. Now look, when I knew I was getting a bike, I still needed to discuss this with my wife. I knew she wasn't going to be happy about the idea, but I did not go seeking permission. As I said, the decision was made. Now, I needed to bring her on board with that decision, and knowing my wife as well as I did after being married for 29 years, I knew what some of her main concerns would be. And so I had done the research and been prepared to answer her ahead of time. So this idea that, I would I'd have a bike if only my wife, ain't buying it, people. Grow a spine. So those are what I feel are the 5 major reasons. And other reasons kind of are subsets of these, but if there's something that I missed that you think is a glaring oversight, by all means, post it. The point of this topic, riding a bike has had real tangible benefits for me as a person, my mental health. And I know I'm not the only one. There have been studies on this that even show how it affects our physical health, whether it's heart rate, blood pressure, and all that sort of thing. And I see a lot of unhappy people that I work with, and other people that I come across in life. And there's definitely times when I think to myself, that person, if they had something like this, they might be a lot happier. Now, it is not the be-all, end-all. When something works for you, makes you feel good, you naturally want other people to have that same experience. So there you have it. you know, I wish there were more people that rode motorcycles. It would be great for motorcycling itself. It would be great for the manufacturers. It would just be a big positive all around. But, you know, what are you going to do? I'm enthusiastic about it when people ask me, and what they do is their choice. So, love to hear your comments, posts, likes, thumbs ups, subscribes, and all that stuff below. Till next time.